Welcome to this Pal's Fundamentals podcast. Right now in the Faroe Islands, a huge political storm is brewing over national security. At the center of it is Denmark's intelligence service, PET. Is it a much-needed partner or a Trojan horse? Let's get into it. So here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll look at the context that kicked this all off. Then we'll dig into the critique from one side and the defense from the other. After that, we'll see how it all devolved into a serious political rift, and finally, what it means for the Faroe Islands as they stand at a crossroads. And really, this is the question at the heart of everything. Is Denmark's intelligence agency a helpful partner, or is it actually a threat to Faroese sovereignty? The answer you get really depends on who you ask, and it's tearing the political scene apart. So what lit the fuse on this whole thing? Well, it was an official decision to beef up the presence of PET, the Danish intelligence service, in the Faroes. On the surface, it sounds like a straightforward security measure, right? But it turned out to be so much more complicated than that. Okay, so let's jump into the first camp. Leading the charge against this move is a politician named Erling Eidesgaard. And he's not just skeptical, he's arguing that letting a foreign intelligence service set up shop is a fundamentally bad idea. Eidesgaard's whole argument really comes down to one simple idea. You can't serve two masters. He says, look, PET works for Denmark. Its job is to protect Danish interests. And let's be honest, Danish interests and Faroese interests, they aren't always the same thing. Sometimes they're even in direct conflict. And he is not holding back at all. He basically says that if you think PET is there to help the Faroe Islands, you're just fooling yourself. In his own words, it's completely insane. That's a pretty strong statement. For Eidesgaard, this isn't just a political disagreement. He thinks the stakes are incredibly high. Relying on PET is, in his view, a huge gamble. Best case scenario, it's just a bad idea. Worst case, he calls it landskadeligt, an act that is actually damaging to the country itself. All right, so that's the critique. Now let's flip the coin and look at the defense. On the other side of this, you've got Surður Skali, who is a Faroese representative in the Danish parliament. He sees this completely differently, not as Denmark pushing in, but as a vital response to a very real danger. According to Skali, everyone is looking in the wrong direction. He argues the real issue isn't Denmark, it's Russia. He believes there's a clear and present danger from Moscow's activities in the North Atlantic, and that ignoring it would be a huge mistake. And he's not just talking in abstracts. He points to some pretty concrete examples. Things like Norway finding military equipment on Russian ships, vessels hanging around suspiciously close to NATO exercises and important infrastructure, a Russian ship that literally cut an undersea cable back in 2022, and even Finland boarding a Russian Shadow Fleet ship suspected of sabotage. So you can see the fundamental clash here, right? For Eidesgaard, the main threat is internal. It's Denmark undermining Faroese sovereignty. But for Skale, the threat is totally external. It's Russia posing a danger to the entire region. Two completely different worldviews. Now, as you can probably guess, a disagreement this deep didn't stay professional for very long. It got heated, and then it got personal, the accusations started flying, and they were sharp. Skali, for his part, didn't pull any punches when describing his opponent's position. He flat out called it a serious case of political paranoia, basically saying it's so out there, he doesn't even know how to respond to it. But he didn't stop with just Eidesgaard. He went further, claiming that this anti-Danish paranoia, as he calls it, isn't just one person's opinion. He says there's a whole group of influential people who think the same way. And then he named names, publicly. He called out a former prime minister, another politician, the current fisheries minister, and a top diplomat, lumping them all into this chorus of supporters for what he sees as a dangerous worldview. And yeah, that really blew the lid off the whole thing. So where does all this turmoil leave the Faroe Islands? Well, they're facing a dilemma that a lot of smaller nations are grappling with right now in this tense global environment. It's a real balancing act. It really all boils down to two competing instincts. On one hand, you have the powerful desire for national sovereignty, for self-reliance. But on the other hand, you have the practical, maybe unavoidable need to team up with your neighbors for security. And that leaves us with the million-dollar question that the Faroe Islands has to figure out. What's the bigger threat, really? Is it the risk of being spied on by an ally with its own agenda, or is it the risk of aggression from a hostile foreign power? There's no easy answer. Like and subscribe to Pal's Fundamentals for more content like this. Sources linked below.